Today I'm going to create a 2-page layout, but I'm going to do a little something differently. I am going to work on my own sketch. Hi guys, I'm Tanya. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Leave me a comment and let me know where you're watching from. And if you're returning, welcome back. So this is how I want to lay my photos out. I want my 4 3x4 photos in the middle. I want them kind of down, and then my photos on the outsides, I'm going to have them up about an inch. So I recently attended an all-team training, and I received these cute little gifts from the people on my team, and it was so much fun. I cannot wait to tell you all about this. I am part of an incredible team, and these cute little things that they made, I want to include them on my layout because they were part of my experience. The paper I want to use is Marbled Elegance by Stampin' Up, and I just thought this paper was perfect. I love all those gold and different pinks and white swirls. I thought they matched my photos perfectly, and everything was like pink at this retreat. Now there is some red in this paper, but I'm going to steer clear of those sheets. And at first I thought maybe I could pull them in because there's a little bit of red in the candle and a little bit up in like some of the other photos, but then I was like, I'm going to stick with the pinks. I wanted to use that pink marbled paper behind my 4 3x4 photos in the center, but they really got lost in the background, even though I really loved them. So I needed to bring in some cardstock or some other paper to mat my photos, and I end up bringing in the black because I really loved the way it looked. It popped, and I have a lot of black in my photos already. Hang tight because I decide that this setup is not working for me and I'm wanting to bring in 18 photos on this layout, so I'm going to change it up. Here is what I came up with. So I think I want to add do a little dovetailing at the end of both of these marble pieces of paper. And just a quick, easy way of doing it if you don't want to measure is to slightly fold your paper in half and get a little tiny crease and then go up with your scissors as far as you want that banner. Now I'm wanting just a really small, just slight banner. I don't want it too pronounced. So I'm only going to go up about 1/2 of an inch, and this is a pretty wide piece, so it's not going to be that much of a banner, but it'll give it just enough detail. And what I do to one side, I want to repeat and do to the other side. So this team retreat was held in Texas, and Cindy Jackson hosted it for us, and we had an amazing time. Look at that cake. It was incredible. So the friendships I've made on this team is just amazing. I mean, talk about community. There is nothing better than doing what I love with people who love to do what they do as well. I'm going to use this first sheet that I cut to cut the second one so I can make sure they're uniform. I want to bring in my black ink and do a little bit of edge distressing here with that ink. This is going to not only make my paper stand up from the background a little more, but it's going to add a lot more detail. You'll see me do this quite a bit in my process videos because I just think it gives it a nice finished look. Since this retreat was in Texas and it was Western themed, I stamped and die cut several boots using an old Close to My Heart stamp set, Life in Boots. Close to My Heart is out of business now, but I still love the stamp so much I wanted to incorporate it. Now I stamped these boots so many different ways. I stamped them on the light pink cardstock in the coordinating ink colors to this paper. Then I tried it in the black ink. I took some markers, I sponged on them, I colored on them. Then I thought maybe I would just off stamp the top part of the boots and do them in this really cute pattern paper that I have in the background of my layout. And so I just kind of fussy cut that out and glued it on top of The other boots, I emboss these boots with black embossing powder, and I apologize about my phone. And I just tried them in so many different ways. Let me show you what I finally came up with. So after stamping all of those and coloring them in a little bit, I laid them out on my paper, and even though they coordinated, I just didn't like how they looked. They didn't stand out enough, and the black was definitely too dark. So I ended up getting out some bubble bath, which wasn't in this paper, and I really liked how that looked when I added on the pattern paper and I fussy cut that out to the top part of the boots, and I just love that. And I did the same with the hat and the hat band right there, and that was a winner for me. Here is a look at that stamp set in case you have it in your stash or something similar. I'm going to bring in the larger one of these hearts and use that as my title. I just love the way it looks, and it's a sweet memory. I want to use the Spotlight on Nature dies. I just love these circles. They have a lot of detail in them, and they're really cute. I'm going to use this as a background to build my embellishment clusters on, and I'm using this gold mercury vellum to cut my circles out, and this is really pretty. If it's still available, I will leave it in the description box below. I will leave all the links to everything I'm using in the description box below if it's still available. I just wanted to show you, this was really neat. If you flip this gold paper over, it made for a really cute snow scene in the background. I cut 3 different sizes of those circles, and I'm going to lay them behind where I want my embellishment clusters. Before I glued those boots together, I did bring in my markers. I brought in the light and the dark bubble gum, and there's 2 different ends. There's the chisel and the point, and I just used them and went over the shadow parts, and I really love the detail that gave them. This is the fun part, building my embellishment clusters. Even though it took me several tries with those boots, I really love how they came out. Now I also went ahead and I stamped some horseshoes, and I stamped those on that other pattern paper. It was the pink paper. It was just a little bit different than the flowers. It kind of had the dots in the background, and I really like how they look. I also stamped some stars from that same stamp set, and I stamped them on the lighter side of the Pool Party two-tone cardstock, and I stamped them in the coordinating ink. You can't have a layout about scrapbooking without bringing in scrapbooking stamps. So I brought in Crafting with You and Sharing Loving Crafting, and I added some words, and I'm going to add that die cutting machine here in a minute when I add my additional photos. I'm going to bring in a lot more photos, some additional dies, and some words, and even more of those favors that I received by using these page protectors. These are like pocket page protectors. So this is where I got those boots. I just cut them out of that favor that I received that had candy or something in it, and just incorporated that. So I added this a little You Inspire Me, and I got that off of that same stamp set, the Crafting with You. And I cut that circle out using stylish shape dies. And I'll show you those here in just a minute, but I wanted you to see where I got all those words. Here is a quick look at those stylish shape dies, and you can do so many things with these. These are definitely a staple in my collection. All these ladies inspire me, and like I said, I'm a part of a great team, but I wanted to stick this down there on the photo with me and Brandy Cox, and we were doing this like 3-minute speed dating kind of thing. It was a really fun activity where we got to talk to everybody on a more intimate level that's on each one of the members on my team. And so I just thought I would stick that there because we had a fantastic talk, and she really inspires me and just brought me to tears. And I brought her to tears, and it just was it's a blessed memory. In that empty photo place above my sweet friend Diana and Susan, I am going to add that name sign that Cindy made for me and had waiting for me on my table when I arrived. I'm going to put that in that spot, and I am going to tuck behind that some additional little favors, little trinkets that I got that I want to save and keep with all of these photos and all of these memories so I can pull them out at any time and look at them. I love that the place and the date are already on the back of that, so if I ever pull that out, I will know when it was. I will be sure to journal as well. I want to be sure to tell my story, and if I don't just tuck that in behind one of these photos with maybe a tag, I will go ahead and add it into a flip flap, and I will put that over one of my photos with an additional photo in the front of that. If this sounded super fun to you and you're looking for someone to scrapbook with or a team to be a part of, I would love for you to join my team. Send me a message and I would love to chat with you. If you're looking for more embellishment tips, check out my next video.